This lecture, as you've worked out, is about political change. No. But how do you change things? If you want to change society, how do you change things? Well, we're not all in power, by definition. Some of us haven't even got the vote. But if you've got a voice, in our country we've got freedom of speech, you can change things slowly, but you can be heard. And that's one way. And I used to work at University of London Union, and there wasn't a day went by when there wasn't a march that started outside, or people giving out flyers and leaflets and stuff. And I always used to take them to read them, because I wanted to know what people were giving up their time for. And I remember one was a leaflet boycotting Nike and some other designer labels for using third world sweatshops, particularly China. And there was a frightening statistic on this leaflet, I'll never forget. It said that the CEO of Nike has amassed $5.2 billion. And for a female worker in one of his sweatshops in China to earn that, she'd have to work 7 days a week, 8 hours a day, for 10,000 years. But they don't want to. Lazy. There was another thing on there, it's absolutely true. One of the supervisors in one of the sweatshops in China had been accused of sexually assaulting one of the female workers. And he'd been... that's not funny, is it? No. True, and he was suspended but fled the country before he'd come to trial. And the CEO of Nike was asked an awkward question about this at a press conference, and he said, no, he wasn't sexually assaulting her. He was trying to wake her up and must have touched the wrong places. What? That's a bad excuse, isn't it? Touch the... What? Mrs. Chang. Mrs. Chang. Just shout, don't touch her at all. Mrs. Chang. But I love bad excuses when they're sort of embarrassing, sort of heinous things like that. I remember a friend of mine I went to college with was a medical student, and when he did his degree, he did an internship or junior doctorship at University College Hospital. And he was working nights. It was about 1:30 in the morning. And this guy came in, and he had a bottle of sauce stuck up his arse, as you do, and completely disappeared. He hadn't left, like, you know, enough out. He hadn't thought of the return journey. Like, even Hansel and Gretel sort of left breadcrumbs, didn't they? He hadn't thought it through. He was getting so into it, the whole bottle up there. Then he couldn't get any purchase. He couldn't, you know, tie a bit of string to it or something. Just think ahead. Or empty it out, fill it with concrete, put a broom handle in it, let that set, then you've got the full length of the bottle and a handle. But he hadn't put as much thought into it as me. Amateur. Now, so, and also, instead of going in there and saying, excuse me, mate, got a sauce bottle stuck up my arse. I know what I was doing, you know what I was doing, get it out and I won't do it again. Instead of saying that, he went through his whole face-saving rigmarole of filling out an accident report, just making it worse for himself. And this is the excuse he gave, okay? He said, well, what happened was, this is a great excuse, right? He said, I'd been shopping at Safeway, and I came home with my shopping and I realised that I'd locked myself out of my house. So I put the shopping on the doorstep, and I saw that I'd left open a bedroom window, so I thought I'd get in there. So I tried to climb up the drain pipe, but as I was climbing the drain pipe, my belt broke, and my trousers and pants fell down. I went to grab them, I lost my grip, and I fell, and I landed on the bottle that went straight, and that's what happened. So I went, okay, so got it out for him. When he left, they made an amendment to the accident report. My mate put, this story would be somewhat more believable if Safeway sold their bottles of sauce with condoms already attached. I just thought, oh, the condom, fuck. He knows I'm lying. Why did he put a condom on it anyway? Because he was then going to use it on his chips. But how mean is that? if you're into, you know what I mean, shoving condiments up your arse, buy two. They're only 79p. I guess. I don't know. One for chips, one for arses. You know where you are. You have to make bad excuses. My favourite leaflet of all time. I bet some of you haven't even got a favourite leaflet, have you? Sort it out. No, it really is. You'll see why. And I kept it with me for about 3 months and showed it to everyone. It was a leaflet that came round the Union in about 1994, 95, and it was a Terence Higgins leaflet about safe sex. And it was aimed at the last demographic of gay men that weren't taking HIV seriously enough. And so it was very hard-hitting and seen, and it used like really sort of colourful language to get the message across. And I remember it so well. And the title of this flyer, you know it's going to be a good leaflet when this is the title. This is the opening gambit, right? It was called, you know, you don't always have to have anal sex. Thanks very much. Think of a couple of old age pensioners just queuing for their flu jab. They're just browsing, Reader's Digest. What's this one? You know, you don't always have to have anal sex. See, I fucking told you. Right. So, that was what it's called, right? And it was a 10-point plan of alternatives to, you know, that. So, number one, okay, always started the same as well. Always started with why not, right? Why not, like casual, like you're saying, like a recipe or something. Why not throw in an onion, right? Right, okay. Number one was this. And it had those little diagrams, like little drawings like you get on safety things on planes. So anyway, number one, 10-point plan. Number one was, think of this as medical advice, okay? Number one was, why not just wank each other off? I got the new leaflet. Oh, what does it say? Why not just wank each other off? Okay. Oh, yeah. Casual. Number two is great. Again, just a casual suggestion, right? Number two is what? Always the same. Why not? Right? Number two, why not come on his back? Why not? When is that? This is so casual. Why not? Imagine you queue up to see a GP. They go, the GP will see you now, and he's sort of writing, come in, sit down, what can I do for you? I'm gay and I'm worried about HIV. Come on his back. Number three, whenever I showed this to people, when I got to this one, people were laughing and going, oh, and they went, oh, right? Number three, it's the worst one. Number three is, why not come in his hair? Not the hair. On the back. Come on the back, sure, on you go, go on. I came here to change attitudes tonight, and I think I've done that. I want to leave you with something now to show that knowledge is power. It's a true story, actually, and we were talking earlier about third world sweatshops, and they really are awful places, and there's women and children that are abused, and they literally get a few pence an hour, and it's for big conglomerate companies to make billions of pounds. And I was shopping with a friend of mine a couple of years ago. His name was Rob, and he had a sudden death in the family, and he had to get a suit for the funeral. And he was in a band, and he was on the dole. He didn't have a suit to his name. We went to these sort of cheap places in Oxford Street, and one bloke said, oh, I've got a lovely suit, £29. And I thought, what is this going to look like? I couldn't wait for him to have to buy the suit. We went over to it, and it was all right, and I was gutted. It was just like a classic sort of dark suit, and it was nice, and it had an electric blue sort of satin lining, and he was made up. So just to piss on his bonfire, I said, well, if it's that cheap, and it's that well made, and it's not in a sale, it means someone's been exploited. He went, what? I went, yeah, it's awful. It's like women and children exploited, and you'd just be adding to the problem, right? And he didn't buy it. and he went and sold a guitar at Record and Tape Exchange and bought a suit for 150 quid. And I felt bad, but then I thought, well, I was probably right. They probably have used like really awful, cheap labour. And so just by doing that, and even though it's one person's little change, if everyone changes it, then we can all, do you know what I mean, make a difference. Still, 29 quid though. It's all right, isn't it? He also told the one about the boy who cried wolf. A boy looking after his sheep, gets a bit bored. It is boring. Just making sure you got all... Probably tiring as well, because if you're counting them, you're probably getting a bit drowsy, aren't you? Anyway, so gets a bit bored. Nothing to do here in the Bible. Anyway, so a long time ago, and he goes, it was just a Monday. That's the worst, isn't it? And he's just bored, and he goes, I know what, I'll have a laugh. And he goes, wolf, 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 wolf. And the villagers come out and goes, where's the wolf? They go, no, there's no wolf. He goes, oh, you're fool. So the next day, he thinks, well, that worked a treat, I'll do that again. He goes, wolf, wolf, wolf. Where's the wolf this time? Still no wolf. Oh, yeah, oh. Third day, there really is a wolf. And he goes, wolf, 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 wolf. But the villagers don't come because they don't believe him. And we were told the moral of that is, never tell a lie. No, it isn't. The moral of that is never tell the same lie twice. Terrible lesson for kids. Nursery rhymes. Do you know, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, which I later learned meant his cranium. I thought his hat fell off or something. And Jill came tumbling after. And that is a true fable of the time, of I think the 16th century, about two illicit lovers who used to go up to the hill, out of the sight of the villagers, and have it off behind their spouse's back. What's the moral there? What is that? Don't fuck around with sluts or you get your head caved in. You know. I've never worked out what the moral of Humpty Dumpty is. I can only think of don't sit on a wall if you're an egg. How is that applicable to an 8-year-old human? I don't... You in there go, well, what's the moral there? Huh. Don't sit on a wall if you're an egg. What? Of course I wouldn't. What do you mean, if you're an egg? It's not going to happen, is it? What? Are there eggs reading that going, I'm just going to jump up there? Fucking hell. Good job. Oh, God. Wait, don't get on there if you're an egg. No, why not? Look, read that. Fuck. Don't send horses to perform medical procedures. Of course they couldn't put him together again. Of course. It's obvious, they haven't got the dexterity. It's obvious. I wouldn't have sent them in the first place. No, experiment. Don't experiment. They can't even scrub up. They can't. They haven't got thumbs, let alone opposable thumbs. They couldn't sew to save their life. They couldn't. If I had to design a perfect egg-crushing device, it would be a hoof. Doesn't matter if they're king's horses or steptoe's horse. All the king's horses. Certainly don't send all of them. It's going to be chaos. What if we'd have been invaded by France that day? Bloke comes running to the bloke in charge. He goes, you in charge of all the king's horses and all the king's men? Yeah. Well, the French are coming. What? Where are all the king's horses and all the king's men? The French are coming to Dover. They're quick. Where are they? The egg. What? What? The egg. What are you talking about? I sent them to mend an egg. Are you fucking mental? Are you mental? They can't mend an egg. Oh, no. Also, I only know that he is an egg from pictorial evidence. And he is clearly an egg. An egg thing. An egg with eyes. Things, right? And trousers. But that's not mentioned in the whole thing. That'd be the first thing I'd mention. Never mind. I'd go, once, right, there was an egg that could climb walls. Left that out. Can't forget that moral. Well, if your surname is Dumpty, don't call your firstborn Humpty. He's already an egg. Like, that's not enough of a stigma. How's the baby? It's an egg. Just an egg. Oh, really? What are you going to call it? Humpty Dumpty? Well, don't make it worse. Don't. That is a wind-up. That. Just call him Johnny or something. Just put a balaclava on him. Just say the worst they get is Fatty Johnny. Humpty Dumpty, the egg. He's going to get the piss ripped out of him. He's probably jumped off the wall. Has everyone heard of Carl Pilkington? Because there's a bit... He's my producer on my radio show. I'll just quickly... But for those who haven't heard of him, he's a guy... Talking about attitudes, he's a man whose attitude hasn't changed from about the age of 5. He's from Manchester, and you can ask him anything, and he's got an opinion on it. It's usually... It were rubbish. But... Right, example. OK. Well, I tell him about doing this show. I said, I'm doing a show called Politics. He went, why? And you can't answer it. And he said, you want to talk about that David Blunkett? I went, why? What's he done? He went, oh, he's up to his old tricks again. He's only gone and banned people having sex in public, hasn't he? And I went, well, yeah, but surely that's a good thing, Carl. And he went, yeah, but would he have done it if he could see? And there's a twisted logic, you know. All right, we were once on air, this was. We were talking about blind dates, you know, things. Have you had a blind date? And halfway through, Carl just piped up and went, I went on a blind date once. I went, you good? Yeah, it was all right, yeah. And what'd you do? She went for a drink and that. Was she nice? Yeah, she was really good. Yeah, she was really fun. Yeah, it was great. Did you see her again? No. She had a problem with her marrow. I went, oh, what? She had a problem with her marrow. Her bone marrow. I went, oh. She went, yeah, she had a wasting disease. So I thought, what's the point? On air. And so I flushed, I went, oh, Carl, if she's listening, you're for it. He went, she'll be dead by now. Unbelievable. I'll just tell you one more before I go, one more, right? This was last year, during Wimbledon week. Again, on air, he said, did you watch any of Wimbledon last night? I went, no. What was it? They let some little wheelchair fellas have a go on centre court. Little wheelchair fellas. No irony, right? And I went, oh, right, yeah. Any good? He went, no, they're rubbish. I went, why? He went, they couldn't get a rally going. And I went, well, Carl, to be fair, they're in chairs on grass. He went, don't put it on telly then. And I'm on air. And I went, oh, wow. I said, everyone's entitled to be, you know, well, yeah. Well, let them do something they can do then. And I went, foolishly, I went, like what? And he said, swing ball. Thanks very much. Good night. Thank you. Thank you. It's a positive show because it's not all doom and gloom, getting older. There's good and bad to getting old. There really is. There's good and bad to getting old. For example, yes, there's more chance now of me having a heart attack, having a stroke, getting cancer, but much less chance now of me ever being raped in prison. Yeah. So when I was a young man, I thought, I can never go to jail, not with this cute ass, right? But now, I'd be pretty confident I'd be left alone. You know, like, I'd go down the corridor, my first day, with a little towel, just whistle along, right? They'd all come to the bars and go, ooh. You know what I mean? I'd spend as much time as I wanted in the shower. No one's even looking, not a sniff, nothing. The big danger for me these days, bending over in a prison shower, would be my back going, right? And just sort of crumple into the floor and have to be helped to my bunk by 2 big gay rapists. And they just put me down naked and leave. And I go, lads, before you go, I've done my shouldering. Can you little tug? Right? And they go, nah. I go, What do you mean, no? You're literally gay rapists. They go, we're not monsters.